Life moves fast. Some days feel steady and clear, while others arrive with pressure, noise, and quiet exhaustion. In moments like these, the mind searches for something simple yet true, a place to rest without running away from life. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that calm is not found by escaping the world, but by learning how to meet it with clarity, patience, and kindness. Inner peace is not a special state reserved for monks or saints. It is a skill, gently practiced in ordinary moments, breath by breath, choice by choice. In this video, we will explore 7 timeless lessons inspired by Buddhist teachings, designed to help you stay calm, grounded, and positive even when life feels uncertain. These lessons are not meant to be rushed or forced. They are invitations, quiet reminders that peace grows naturally when the mind softens and the heart opens. If you are feeling overwhelmed, tired, or simply in need of stillness, let these words walk with you for a while. If this video brings you a sense of ease or clarity, take a moment to like, subscribe, and stay connected with this space of calm wisdom. 1. Be gentle with yourself. Most people don't suffer because life is too heavy. They suffer because of the way they speak to themselves when life becomes difficult. Quietly, almost without noticing, the inner voice turns sharp. It points out every mistake, replays every failure, and questions every step forward. This voice often sounds harsh, impatient, and unforgiving, and yet it feels familiar, as if it has always been there. Buddhism does not blame us for this habit. It simply invites us to see it clearly. When pressure builds, the mind often believes criticism will create improvement. But instead of strength, it creates tension. Instead of clarity, it creates exhaustion. The suffering does not come from falling short, but from how relentlessly we punish ourselves for it. Imagine for a moment that you had a close friend who followed you everywhere. This friend sees your struggles, your doubts, your unfinished efforts, but instead of judging, they stay present. When you stumble, they do not shout. They listen. When you fail, they do not abandon you. They remind you that growth takes time. Now pause and ask yourself a simple question. Why do we offer this kindness so freely to others, yet withhold it from ourselves? Why is compassion easy when directed outward, but difficult when turned inward? The Buddhist path gently points to this imbalance, not to shame us, but to restore harmony within. In Buddhist teaching, there is a principle known as right speech. Most people understand this as speaking truthfully and kindly to others. But this teaching goes deeper. The words spoken inside the mind are also words. The tone you use with yourself shapes your inner world just as powerfully as any conversation with another person. When inner speech becomes harsh, the mind contracts. When it softens, the mind opens. This is not philosophy for debate. It is something you can feel directly. Begin by noticing how you speak to yourself when things do not go as planned. Notice the language, the tone, the urgency. There is no need to fight it or silence it. Awareness itself creates space. Then, gently experiment with a softer response. A simple phrase, a quiet reassurance, a reminder that mistakes are part of learning, not proof of unworthiness. Some people use affirmations, others sit quietly, breathing, allowing the inner noise to settle without judgment. The method matters less than the attitude. Being gentle with yourself does not mean avoiding growth. It means allowing growth to happen without violence. When you stop attacking yourself, strength appears naturally, not forced, not loud, but steady and calm, like a river that flows because it is no longer blocked. 2. Honor your body as a temple. Inner peace does not live only in the mind. It is deeply connected to the condition of the body. When the body is constantly tired, tense, or neglected, the mind struggles to remain calm no matter how positive the thoughts may sound. Buddhism reminds us that the mind and body are not separate paths. They move together. If the body is pushed beyond its limits, the mind eventually follows into restlessness. Many people search for peace while ignoring the signals their body is sending. True calm cannot settle in a space that is constantly exhausted. In Buddhist wisdom, the body is often seen as a sacred space, a living temple through which life is experienced. This does not mean worshiping the body or becoming attached to appearance. It means recognizing its role with respect. A temple is not meant to be decorated endlessly, nor neglected until it crumbles. It is cared for so that it can serve its purpose. In the same way, honoring the body is not about perfection, control, or discipline driven by fear. It is about maintenance, balance, and gentle attention. The body is not an obstacle on the spiritual path. It is the path. The Buddha taught that this human form is a rare and valuable vessel. Through it, we breathe, learn, love, and awaken. When the body is treated with care, it supports clarity. When it is ignored or abused, the mind becomes unsettled. Buddhism does not ask us to deny the body, nor to indulge it blindly. It invites us to walk the middle way, where respect replaces neglect, and awareness replaces obsession. Honoring the body begins with nourishment. Food is not only fuel, it is information. Eating with awareness, choosing what supports your energy rather than drains it, creates a foundation for stability. This does not require rigid rules, it requires listening. Movement is the second layer. The body is designed to move, not to remain frozen in tension. Gentle walking, stretching, or mindful motion can restore balance without force. The third layer is rest and care for the mind. Sleep is not laziness. Stillness is not weakness. Moments of quiet, breathing, or meditation allow the nervous system to reset and heal. When the body is respected in these simple ways, something subtle happens. The mind begins to soften. Thoughts slow down. Emotional weight feels lighter. Peace does not need to be chased. It arrives naturally when the body feels safe, supported, and at ease. 3. Set attainable goals. Many people lose their calm not because they lack direction, but because of the way they set their goals. Some push themselves too hard, chasing expectations that stretch far beyond their current strength. Over time, this leads to exhaustion, disappointment, and self-doubt. Others move in the opposite direction, setting goals so small that life begins to feel stagnant and uninspiring. Both extremes create imbalance. Buddhism observes this pattern without judgment and offers a quieter, wiser alternative. When pressure replaces clarity, peace slowly fades. At the heart of Buddhist teaching lies the middle path. It is not a call to abandon ambition, nor an invitation to overwork in the name of progress. The middle path is about balance. It asks us to move forward with intention, without violence toward ourselves. Growth does not need to be forced to be real. When effort is guided by awareness rather than urgency, progress becomes sustainable. This approach allows the mind to stay steady while the body continues to move forward. Imagine climbing a staircase. Each step is designed to be reachable. If the steps are too high, the body struggles and loses balance. If they are too low, the climb feels meaningless. Life works the same way. Goals that are aligned with your current capacity help you rise without strain. Or picture a tree growing in silence. It does not rush toward the sky. It expands slowly, season by season, yet its roots deepen with every passing day. The tree does not compare its pace to others. It simply grows. Life, too, is closer to a marathon than a sprint. Speed may impress for a moment, but endurance carries you farther. Buddhist wisdom gently reframes success. Success is not the moment you arrive at a destination. It is the way you walk the path. When the mind becomes obsessed with outcomes, the present moment is lost. When attention returns to the process, each step becomes meaningful. Effort feels lighter. Pressure loosens its grip. Progress becomes something you experience rather than chase. To walk this balanced path, begin by breaking larger goals into smaller, manageable steps. Let each step be clear and achievable. Acknowledge progress as it happens, no matter how modest it may seem. Celebration does not inflate the ego. It strengthens patience. Over time, Patience creates peace, and peace sustains growth. If this lesson resonates with you, take a quiet moment to reflect on the goals you are carrying. And if you feel guided to continue this journey of mindful living, stay connected here, where growth is measured not by speed, but by steadiness. 4. Embrace change and try new things. Suffering does not always come from pain or loss. Sometimes it comes from standing still for too long. When life becomes repetitive, when curiosity fades and movement slows, a quiet heaviness can settle in. Buddhism speaks of this gently, reminding us that stagnation often creates more discomfort than change itself. We are not meant to remain fixed in one place, emotionally or mentally. Life moves, and when we resist that movement, tension begins to grow. One of the central truths in Buddhist wisdom is impermanence. Everything changes. Our thoughts, emotions, circumstances, and identities are constantly shifting, whether we acknowledge it or not. Peace is not found by trying to freeze life in a familiar form. It is found by learning how to move with change rather than against it. Much of human suffering arises not from change itself, but from the fear of letting go of what once felt safe. When the mind clings, it tightens. When it releases, space appears. Think of the seasons. Spring does not argue with winter, and autumn does not cling to summer. Each season arrives, completes its cycle, and makes room for the next. Or imagine a tree in a strong wind. If it resists completely, its branches may snap. But if it bends and sways, it survives and grows stronger. Life asks us to develop the same flexibility. We are travelers, not statues. The world is less a battlefield to control and more a playground to explore, if we allow ourselves to see it that way. Fear often arises when we consider trying something new. A new direction, a new habit, a new way of seeing ourselves. The mind interprets fear as a warning sign, assuming that discomfort means danger. Buddhist insight offers a different perspective. Fear does not always mean something is wrong. Often, it signals the edge of growth. It appears when the familiar no longer fits and something new is waiting to be discovered. Growth rarely happens inside comfort. It happens when we step gently beyond it. Trying new things does not require reckless action or dramatic change. It begins with curiosity, a small shift in routine, a new perspective, a willingness to learn rather than control. Each step, no matter how small, expands the inner world. Over time, confidence replaces resistance, and curiosity softens fear. When we embrace change in this way, life becomes less rigid and more fluid. We stop fighting the current and begin to move with it. In that movement, a quiet joy emerges. It feels like dancing with the unknown, not to conquer it, but to meet it with openness, trust, and grace. 5. Cultivate a positive mind. Much of what we call life is actually an experience shaped by the mind. Two people can face the same situation, yet feel entirely different about it. Buddhism teaches that while we cannot control every event that happens to us, we can learn to guide where our attention rests. Attention is powerful. It colors perception, influences emotion, and determines whether the mind feels crowded or clear. When attention drifts without awareness, mental noise multiplies. When it is gently anchored, clarity begins to emerge. Mindfulness is the practice of returning to the present moment, again and again. It is not a technique meant to silence the mind by force, nor is it something complicated or distant. Mindfulness simply means being here, fully. When the mind is no longer lost in regrets about the past or worries about the future, it becomes lighter. The present moment, when seen clearly, often holds far less suffering than the stories we create around it. Buddhism reminds us that peace is not found somewhere else. It is found in noticing what is already happening. Imagine the mind as a garden. Every thought is a seed. Some seeds grow into calm and understanding, while others grow into fear and restlessness. Attention is the water that determines what grows. When attention is constantly given to negative thoughts, they multiply. When attention rests on awareness, patience, and gratitude, the inner landscape changes. This does not require controlling every thought. It requires choosing where to place attention when thoughts arise. Mindfulness can be practiced in the simplest moments of daily life. When you eat, notice the flavors, the texture, the nourishment. When you walk, feel the movement of your body and the contact with the ground. When you breathe, observe the natural rhythm without trying to change it. Even watching a sunset can become an act of mindfulness when you allow yourself to fully witness its colors without distraction. These moments do not add extra time to your day. They transform the time you already have. A positive mind, in the Buddhist sense, is not one that denies difficulty or forces happiness. It is a mind that sees clearly. Positivity grows naturally when the present moment is met without resistance. Problems are approached with steadiness rather than panic. Joy is found in ordinary experiences rather than chased in distant outcomes. When attention returns to what is real and immediate, mental noise softens, and clarity takes its place. In that clarity, calm does not need to be created. It is already there, waiting to be noticed. 6. Do what brings you joy. Many people move through life guided almost entirely by responsibility. There are roles to fulfill, expectations to meet, and routines that must be maintained. Over time, joy quietly slips into the background. Days become functional but empty, productive but draining. Buddhism observes this without blame and gently asks a deeper question. What happens to the spirit when life becomes only about obligation? When joy is postponed long enough, the heart grows tired, even if the body continues to move. In Buddhist teaching, there is a concept known as right livelihood. It speaks not only about work, but about alignment. It encourages engagement in activities that support well-being rather than diminish it. Joy, in this sense, is not indulgence. It is nourishment. Choosing moments that bring genuine happiness is not selfish or irresponsible. It is a form of care. When the inner world is consistently deprived of joy, even good intentions begin to feel heavy. Buddhism reminds us that a joyful heart is better equipped to act with patience, compassion, and clarity. Imagine life as a feast. Each day offers a variety of choices. Some foods nourish and strengthen, while others leave us depleted. Activities work the same way. Certain experiences restore energy and presence, while others slowly drain it. To live wisely is not to avoid responsibility, but to balance it with what feeds the soul. Joy does not have to be dramatic or rare. It often appears in simple forms, a creative moment, time in nature, meaningful conversation, or quiet solitude. This lesson invites honest reflection. What activities make you feel most like yourself? Not the version shaped by expectations, but the one that feels natural and alive. The answer may change over time, and that is part of growth. Listening to this inner signal helps realign life with what truly matters. Joy acts as a compass, pointing toward authenticity. When joy is honored, energy returns. The mind becomes lighter, the body more responsive. From this place, giving to others feels natural rather than forced. Buddhism teaches that you cannot pour from an empty vessel. When you are nourished, generosity flows effortlessly. Joy replenishes the inner reserves, allowing life to be met with openness instead of fatigue. In alignment with joy, effort becomes ease, and living becomes something experienced, not endured. 7. Gratitude as a daily practice. Gratitude is often misunderstood as something we practice only when life is going well. But in Buddhist wisdom, gratitude does not arise because life is perfect. It arises because life is happening. Breath is moving. The heart is still beating. Another moment has been given. When gratitude is postponed until everything feels complete, it never arrives. Peace begins when we recognize that even imperfect moments are part of a living, unfolding experience. At the heart of Buddhist teaching is the understanding of interconnection. Nothing exists on its own. Every moment is supported by countless unseen conditions. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the warmth we feel, all arise through the effort of many lives and forces working together. When this is seen clearly, gratitude becomes natural rather than forced. It is no longer a reaction to success, but a quiet awareness of belonging. Life is not something happening to us. It is something happening through us. Gratitude does not need grand gestures. It often lives in the smallest images. A gentle smile upon waking, before the mind begins to list worries. A warm cup of tea held in both hands, sunlight passing through a window, a cool breeze on the skin. These moments are easy to overlook, yet they carry a quiet richness. Buddhism invites us to pause long enough to notice them. In that pause, lack loosens its grip, and abundance quietly reveals itself. To make gratitude a living practice, simple anchors can help. Some people keep a gratitude journal, writing down a few moments each day that brought comfort or clarity. Others express appreciation directly, offering sincere thanks to those around them. Gratitude can also be extended to challenges. Difficult moments often carry lessons, strength, or redirection that only become visible with time. Acknowledging this does not deny pain. It transforms it. As gratitude deepens, the mind slowly shifts. Attention moves away from what is missing and rests more often on what is present. This shift does not make life smaller, it makes it fuller. Ordinary days become meaningful. Simple experiences feel sufficient. Gratitude weaves joy into daily life, not as excitement, but as steadiness. It brings the heart back into balance. When gratitude becomes part of how we meet each moment, calm and positivity no longer feel distant. They arise naturally, rooted in awareness rather than circumstance. In this way, gratitude completes the circle of these teachings, gently returning us to peace, right where we are. Inner peace does not come from becoming perfect or fixing every part of life. It grows quietly through progress, patience, and presence. Small choices, made consistently, shape the inner world more than sudden changes ever could. Each moment of awareness, each act of kindness toward yourself, each pause to breathe and return to the present, gently builds a foundation of calm and clarity. The path is not about reaching an ideal version of yourself, but about learning to meet life as it is, with steadiness and trust. If these reflections brought you a sense of ease or helped you feel more grounded, consider supporting this space by liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications so you can continue this journey with us. Your presence here matters, and together we create a place for quiet wisdom and mindful living. Until next time, move forward gently, stay present, and allow peace to unfold naturally in your life.